Lamborghinis and Ferraris, holidays and champagne parties, Gucci's and Louis Vuittons. These are the lifestyles of a few well-connected BEE Tenderpreneurs.
Okay, get her to the 911. Felicia, Panamera GTS. My mom, Cayenne S. My dad, the SRT, and then Felicia, the Lamborghini Urus.
Citizen Concerned talks about what matters. If you think what we do is valuable, please subscribe, like, and share these videos for the benefit of all our people. Flaunting their wealth on social media, acting like savvy and innovative Africans when they create and produce nothing. Shaming our race to the rest of the world and spending the continent's wealth on Western luxurious items. Black excellence, they call it. They show off their wealth on social media to thousands of growing fans who don't even realize that it's their wealth that is being displayed to them. So one man who owns one company gets a multi-million rand tender and keeps it all to himself because he has no employees. Now you tell me, what kind of equality is that? Instead of changing the lives of millions of South Africans, the ANC government enriches a few black people who spend our wealth on Western luxury companies. The vast majority of tenderpreneurs do not even employ any black people. They simply register a new company, and a few months later, they win a multi-million or even billion rand tender. AKA, they are middleman, AKA, they create nothing. The main reason they win the tender in the first place is because they are connected and they hold a BEE certificate. You don't believe me? Okay, look at this. Hamilton Ndlovu was paid 172 million rand to supply the National Health Lab Service with PPE. He had no factory or employees that manufactured PPE. Of that 172 million rand, he only spent 15 million rand on PPE. He had 172 million for PPE. He spent 15 million rand on PPE. Soon after the money was paid to him, the money started to leave Africa fast. In one day, more than 10.3 million rand was paid to Porsche and Lamborghini, meaning that the money left South Africa and went to Germany. He bought 3 Porsches and 1 Lamborghini in one day, while the voters were waiting to catch a taxi to work. Maybe even waiting in the rain with an empty stomach. Another 1.3 million rand went to Jeep, meaning the money left South Africa and went to America.
So tell me, what's going on for you?
So this is the 911-992 Carrera 2020. Lea during the week.
Yeah.
Lena. Porsche Panamera GTS 2020.
Yes, my boy.
No
one else. No one else.
Tourism.
Yeah. No one else. No one else. Yeah. No one else. No other passengers. Yeah. Yeah.
Lena uthi umfazi nje ayithenga izinkwa kunothi phela yakusumuntu okumele asebenze uthenga izinkwa uthenga izinkwa
nothing else
then ungavela uyithi ngaphambili.
Thank you, Baba Ndlovu. He brought the dealership home.
While you think about that, let's look at Edwin Sodi, who was paid 290 million rand to refurbish the wastewater treatment facilities in Tshwane. The city even paid 70 million rand up front because Edwin Sodi's company did not have the resources to do the job, which on its own is illegal. And the work was never done, of course. This resulted in waste contaminating water that affected Hammanskraal and killed 31 people. It sounds to me like instead of empowering black people, BEE actually killed black people here. In a 255 million rand tender, Edwin Sodi was paid 230 million rand along with another tenderpreneur for the removal of asbestos from Free State homes. The amount of work done was worth 21 million rand, and the rest became a ghost. He, along with 5 more tenderpreneurs, received 27 million rand for feasibility reports into the construction of a school in a poor community. The school was never built, but they got paid. He also has a 282 million rand tender for a Parys Correctional Services project in Free State. The project has missed 2 deadlines already. Edwin pockets the money, but the government now has to find a new contractor. With all these millions, employees were complaining of not getting paid. So if he is paid way more than is needed for the job he's meant to do, doesn't do most of the job, and still doesn't pay his employees, what does he spend all his money on? I don't know if I can say his money on. Let's just say, what does he spend the money on? So millions are paid as donations and loans to government officials, aka briberies.
The majority of his company's work comes from government tenders. Blackhead has had over 1 billion rand in turnover every year for a decade. Between March 2013 and March 2019, an analysis of Blackhead Consulting's bank statements reveal some interesting payments.
Who is Bongani More?
He's a business associate of mine.
Was he not the Deputy Director General, Gauteng Department of Human Settlements and COGTA?
He was at some stage.
Why would you pay him 7.5 million rand?
As I said, Chair, he's my business associate.
Who is Colin Pitso? I'm told by our investigation team that Colin Pitso is Ndlovu Mokonyani's chief of staff.
That's not correct. He was at some stage.
Why would you pay him 6.5 million rand?
I have, Chair, just explained that the payment was not to him. I used his name as a reference. The payment was to Kepi Construction.
The payment reflected here as a payment to Diane stroke Anoj Singh. What would that be about?
Chair, again, I've got absolutely no idea as I'm sitting here.
Linda and Kobo?
This is against a friend of mine.
Also someone involved in the administration and Gauteng Housing and COGTA.
Used to be.
The payment of 371,553 rand to Paul Mashatile, what is that about?
That's a payment that was made directly to the ANC.
Pinky Kekana, who is she? Do you know?
She's someone that I consider a sister, that I'm close with. She's currently in government as of last year, I think, with the new administration.
Yes, she's a deputy minister.
She's a deputy minister, yeah.
Mr. Nkesi?
He's a minister in the current administration.
Zizi Kodwa?
Zizi is a friend that I've known for a number of years, and I've made payments to him in his personal capacity before he joined government.
Known as a generous lover, he has been known to date multiple influencers and celebrities. He has multiple cars, some of which are Rolls-Royce, Bentleys, Ferraris, and Porsche. He lives in a 100 million rand mansion in Sandton, while a few kilometers away, the black citizens of South Africa live in Alexandria in poor housing. Is that what black economic empowerment looks like? But how is it even possible for one guy to be an expert in asbestos removal, water sanitation, and school development, among many other things? What kind of apartheid did this guy suffer that affected him more than any other black South African, to the point that he gets all of these tenders, delivers nothing, and simply goes on with his extravagant life? From these two stories, I want to ask you, who did this BEE benefit? Not the black South Africans that BEE is supposed to benefit. The money was paid to Western luxury companies, sports cars, designer clothes, and holiday destinations. Are they South African? No. Are they black? No. Just in case you don't see a problem with Tenderpreneurs and BEE within our economy, let me paint a clearer picture. Awarding tenders to black-owned businesses who produce nothing and provide nothing besides their race and connection makes everything more expensive. Instead of going to the manufacturers of the toilet papers, the chairs, the stationery, the PPE, or instead of buying whatever product at a reasonable price, the government is awarding contracts to tenderpreneurs and ends up wasting billions on expensive, poor quality items. Look at this. Eskom is known to pay up to 10 times the cost of basic goods and services. For a wooden mop that doesn't even cost 200 Rand, Eskom paid 238,000 Rand. A single ply toilet roll worth around 5 Rand, Eskom paid 26 Rand per roll. They don't even need to hire someone. They have employees. Why not just ask one of the employees to just go to Pick n Pay, to go to Checkers, to go to a wholesaler and buy these items? Why do they need to have tenders for such basic goods? Really? As if that's not enough, let's look at Tembisa Hospital that spent almost 500,000 Rand, that is 500,000 Rand, on skinny jeans for toddlers. Yeah. To make matters worse, these tenderpreneurs have a habit of lowering the standard of the products or services in order to maximize the profits even more. Did you know that some of the damages that occur inside Eskom are due to rocks? Eskom is buying coal from middlemen who they call value-adding suppliers, right? So these BEE tenderpreneurs are buying good coal from real coal miners and mixing it up with some bad coal or even rocks. And then they're selling this to Eskom while they pretend to be miners themselves. The power plant gets damaged, Eskom increases your bill and my bill in order to cover up for the repairs and the high cost of coal, and yet you are supporting BEE? Like, is that really economical empowerment? And since these tenderpreneurs have expensive tastes, most of the money that they make leaves the African continent and ends up in the hands of a few white people, while the majority of blacks and whites in South Africa struggle to keep up with the economic hardships. Please do something, guys. Please do something, South Africa. Please. Okay? These are not the symbols of black excellence. These are vultures feeding off the carcass that South Africa is quickly becoming. So let's do something about these vultures. From Citizen Concerned, I am Katlego Moagi. As always, beware of the comrades.